One of the most common things that we have tried to convey to you is that asking large social media giants like Facebook to be the arbiter of truth is very bad for society. And some left-wingers are beginning to find that out the wrong way. So we can report here, the Daily Kos actually wrote this up based upon a Guardian report. Let's throw that up there on the screen. Facebook has suspended the accounts of Climate Hawks Vote, Greenpeace, and the Rainforest Action Network for what they claim are misleading facts and intellectual property rights violations and a slew of other things. Now, what have we always said, Krystal? You may be pissed off about Trump's tweet. You may not like a Republican ad and be like, well, actually, PolitiFact says this. Doesn't matter because it will always come for you. Yep. Who is Facebook to tell us what is true and what is not about climate change, voting, coronavirus, anything? I don't want these people deciding anything about what is true or not in our public discourse. Greenpeace and all these other, look, I'm sure these people make outrageous claims all the time. That does not mean that the Facebook should be trying to target their advertisements. They're people who support these organizations know better, and maybe they believe, within the cause that they're willing to overlook it regardless. It is up to us as citizens to discern it for ourselves. You can even say, you're happy to write an article or try and educate your family members and say, hey, actually, this is not true. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't need to do it for you.
Yeah, actually, Ryan Grimm, of course, had a good take on this, good sarcastic take on this. We can throw his tweet up on the screen. Basically, the quest for truth and justice at Facebook not going particularly well. Here we go. The pressure campaign to make Facebook the arbiter of truth and justice not going well. I mean, look. What's ironic here with Daily Kos in particular, writing it up and taking umbrage at it, is they're in that primary liberal resistance vein where they would have been the first to call for banning this and censoring that and all of these things. This is the entirely predictable end result, because what these companies always do in order to continue to look like they're balanced in their approach is, they may take down the right-wing stuff that you don't like, but they're going to try to compensate by taking down some left-wing stuff to make sure that it looks like they're applying their principles evenly. We saw this with Reddit. When they took down R the Donald, they also took down Chapo,
which was bigger. It was actually bigger than the Donald.
Yeah. So this is par for the course. And do you really want these massive, powerful organizations to be the ones deciding who's okay and who's not okay, and these questions of censorship and speech? It's not a smart direction to go in. And the thing is that I think people like the Daily Kos folks, they can feel like they're safe because they are in this mainstream liberal position, and probably 95% of the time the fact checkers are going to side with their version of the world, so they feel safe in this. But this shows you, even if you are in that mainstream liberal firmament, this is still a threat to you ultimately, because if you challenge power even a little tiny bit and get even a little bit outside of the mainstream, they will ultimately come for you.
Look, I've laid this scenario out. It's very simple. If AOC challenges Chuck Schumer to a primary challenge for that New York State Senate seat, do you want Facebook to use Washington Post analysis in order to fact check any claim or ad that she has about Medicare for all? Do you want that? Because that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
Do you want, or student loan debt, same thing. I mean, remember Bernie, the way they went after Bernie's Medicare for All plan, they were well, actually, I reviewed the study and came to a different conclusion than whatever. I was Glenn Kessler, who the hell are you to go through and try and do
crazy.
this?
It was the number of medical bankruptcies. Yeah. And Bernie had cited, here's the study by a respected academic, and here's all the research that backs up my claim. And they went out and found a competing study and then tried to litigate this inter-academic fight. And of course, surprise, surprise, come down on the side opposite to Bernie to say that he got, 7 Pinocchios or whatever it was. It's outrageous, but they'll do anything to make sure that their version of the world is held up. You don't want this at Facebook. You don't want it at Twitter. It is not the right way to go to give these already so massive and powerful institutions even more power over our political discourse.
Yeah.
This is the result that you get.
Couldn't agree more, and this is exactly what happens. Tried to warn you.
Indeed. All right, more rising for you after this.